What's going on, y'all? Thanks for checking in the Khaliis Take. You know what to do. Hit that like, subscribe button. Also hit that notification bell just so you can get the newest and the bonus content first. But hey, let's just go ahead and jump right in. Coming off the loss the other night to the Knicks, this would be a big win for the Clippers tonight against the Warriors if they're able to do so. Now, I'm hearing that some of the stars are coming back in regards to Klay and Steph. I think they didn't play the last game last night, I believe. They were out, and now they're actually gearing up for this game specifically. So the Clippers need to be ready if that's what happens because, those guys, even though they're in a shooting slump, they can jump out of it at any point in time, which is the reason why they're one of the best shooters, that's ever, stepped on an NBA floor. So it doesn't matter whether they shoot poor, it doesn't matter whether they shoot, really bad. It doesn't matter. They can come out and light you up at any point in time. And I think the Clippers need to be ready for that. And I think they will be ready. The Clippers just got to understand, coming off a loss like that against the Knicks, it definitely sucks because you was on such a high against the Los Angeles Lakers by beating them for the fourth straight time this season that you kind of got a little bit ahead of yourself. And you have to realize, come back down to earth and play grinded out basketball the way you've been playing. Because like I said before, you have an opportunity to get that 6th seed, and that's where mostly everybody has their eyes set on. If you're, Clippers Nation, Clippers fan, or if you're the organization, period, you want to be able to solidify a playoff spot if possible, because it'll better your chances of putting yourself in position to go in the first round against a team that you have a better chance of beating, whether you have Kawhi and PG or not, hoping that they'll come back. And that's what the Clippers' eyes need to be set on. And that's having your eyes on the prize. And that's where the Clippers need to take their focus. And this game tonight would be a big win for them because the Warriors are looking to get a big win too, because they've been on a hiatus, sort of say, in regards to winning, because they haven't been doing that lately. They've lost a lot of games in the last couple of weeks, a lot of frustrations on their behalf. And I know a lot of people are saying Draymond is the end all be all that's going to make them better. But I still find that a little bit hard to believe in regards to he can't make them. He's not going to make them overly better than what they are now. They're just going through, Klay and Steph are going through a shooting slump. If Draymond is there and they're going through a shooting slump, they still would lose a lot of games because those are the two main players that do all the scoring. So if they're not shooting well, I don't know how much Draymond is going to make a difference if they're not shooting well. Now, that's just another story for another day, but still, there's still going to be a tough team for the Clippers to come in to beat this team, They're definitely ready and amped up, and they're definitely ready to get back in the win column themselves. So the Clippers going to have to be ready for whatever comes their way. And I definitely think that both teams are well coached. So I definitely think it's going to be a strategic type game. And I definitely think that the Clippers can find themselves winning this game, but they're going to have to grind it out. They can't get behind by 20 plus points and try to come back, because hypothetically, if one of the Splash Brothers are hot for some reason, then you might not be able to come back from a 20-point lead. And like I said, they're well coached too. So, you never know what can happen, but at the same time, they're looking to get a victory just like you are. They're coming off of a loss the same way you are as the Clippers, so they're just as hungry as for a win the same way the Clippers are, and the Clippers have to realize that going into this game. Now, if I had to pick this game, I would say that I would take the Clippers by 1 point. I would go 116, 115 Clippers. I think it'd be a really close game. I feel like it's one of those games where, it'll be ebbs and flows a lot in the game. You'll see the Warriors go on a 15-0 run. You'll see the Clippers go on a 17-2 run. I feel like it's going to be one of those type games where it can sway a little bit back and forth. But I do believe the Clippers would definitely come out on top. I think it's going to be a nail biter by 1 point, like I said. And really, it's a confidence booster for the Clippers. Because you beat the Lakers 4 straight times in the season, and now you play a team like the Warriors where you're getting a good feel of that playoff atmosphere kind of sort of in the last week or so, playing another team that you might even have to face in the first round. So, getting a feel for them, playing against them, see how they like to play and everything like that. Maybe you could figure out your angle going up against them in the first round if that's who the Clippers have to play, if they don't seem to make that 6th seed. But I definitely think it's definitely a challenge for the Clippers because the Warriors are going to go out there and give everything they got. I believe it's a home game for them. And like I said, with them being on the losing streak that they're on, they have to find a way to break out of it at some point. And they're thinking, why not against the Clippers team who lost the other night against the Knicks? So the Clippers are going to have to go in there with the aggression. With the aggression, they're going to have to go in there and have the fighter's mentality. Throw the first punch and throw the last punch, which is the first quarter and the fourth quarter. And that's just the way the game is going to have to end up. If it doesn't, then there might be a chance that the Clippers might lose this game as well, which would put them a little bit further down, not much, but put them a little bit further down in contention of getting that 6th seed, which is very important for them in regards to their playoff lives and playoff chances. So you definitely want to try to get this victory. This is that one that they need, that I feel like that can boost their confidence in regards to getting them over the hump and not going into a losing streak. You don't want to fall into that 2-3 game losing streak type thing, because a lot of times when teams do that, it kind of wanes their confidence a little bit, and then they'll go back and win another game, and then they'll be like, oh, you know what, we would have won those 2 games, or one out of those 2 games or 3 games that we lost in 3-game losing streak, we probably could have got that 6th seed. You don't want it to be a situation like that. So if you can help it. So I definitely think the Clippers need to go out there and try to find a way to get this victory, because it's a big one for them. Because like I said, it's almost like a momentum shift. You beat a team like the Lakers and have the game of your life, then you lose to a team like the Knicks. Now if you could rebound and come back and beat a team like the Warriors, even though they're struggling, it doesn't matter. Stomp a man while he's down. That's the mentality the Clippers got to have, because honestly, every team thinks about doing that to you, because you don't have Kawhi and PG. They want to go in there and make a mockery out of you. It's just the Clippers have been, more than a surprise this year and didn't let teams do that. So you have to go in there with the mentality and stomp a man while he's down and beat the Warriors, beat the crap out of them as much as you can, and, be physical with them. And the one thing with Klay and Steph, I've always said, they're great shooters and all that, but they're very, very, I can't say too much about Klay, but I know Steph, he's very, very finesse. He's not a physical guy. He doesn't like physicality, and it always seems to bother him. So if you go in there, be physical with him a little bit, try not to get in foul trouble too much, try to, play some hard defense on him. I know he's elusive and running around screens and all that, but like I said, if you could be physical with Steph, you bother him, and that's his Achilles heel, and that's the reason why he's never been a Finals MVP. That's the reason why he's never really, to me, been looked at as the ultimate best player in the league. I mean, some people looked at him that way, but overall, it's always been LeBron back in the day. I mean, I wouldn't have put him over LeBron James. I wouldn't put him over Kawhi Leonard, but that's just my opinion. And I feel like a lot of people might agree with that opinion or disagree. It really doesn't matter, but that's just how I see Steph. You be physical with him, sometimes he's just not as effective, and I feel like that's a chink in his armor that a lot of people don't even speak on, but I feel like that's something that the Clippers can exploit as well. Be physical with Steph, be physical with Klay Thompson, and go at them, attack them the way you attack everybody else, and get back, in your winning ways. You let one game slip, that's okay, but going against the Warriors, that's the thing with the Clippers. They play up to their competition, they play down to their competition. Well, in this situation, definitely play up to your competition, but from here going forward, pretend like everybody is your competition, because really, in all actuality, they are. And that's the only way to look at it if you want to try to, better yourself in the seeding, in the standings, in regards to getting to the playoffs and putting yourself in position to, play a team that's more feasible for you to beat. Because I'm not saying the Clippers can't beat the Warriors if they play them in the first round, or the Suns, but at the same time, that's a lot harder matchup rather than playing a team like the Grizzlies or the Utah Jazz in the first round. 2 teams that you're definitely capable of beating, probably with or without Kawhi Leonard and PG. So that's got to be the notion, and you got to go out there and take these games seriously. Don't lag on defense. Don't take games off. Don't play down to your competition, and go out there and represent LA the right way. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully the Clippers get the victory. Hopefully they celebrate from that victory and move on and just go to the next, and keep it going and keep it moving and keep trying to move up in the standings and keep rising for the rest of the season until it's the end. And hopefully Kawhi and them will come back and definitely make everything better in regards to putting the Clippers in a position to win a championship. But hey, that's my take on everything. You leave any comments in the comment section as always. And hey, Khaliis out.